On this day 23 years ago, February 27th, 1996, Pokémon Red and Green were officially released in Japan, thus starting a phenomenon that continues to this day. For many people, Pokémon is a video game, a card game, an anime, a manga, a franchise. But to me, Pokémon is more than just the largest franchise in the world, and I figured there was no better day than today to share my story of how Pokémon changed my life forever. Our story starts on my 6th birthday, when one of my friends gave me a remote-controlled Pikachu toy. This started my love for the franchise, which has only grown over time. So many of my earliest memories involve my friends and I playing Pokémon, both the video game and card game. Although we didn't know how to play the card game, we just kinda made up the rules as we went along. We would collect, trade, battle, watch Ash's adventures every Saturday morning, and even roleplay out our own adventures. This is probably a good time to mention that I've dealt with anxiety issues throughout my life. A major fear of mine was always trying new things. The thought that I might not be good at something, or that I might fail, really prevented me from taking on new activities. The one exception was the summer after 4th grade, when I decided to start going to a Pokemon trading card game league. I kept playing, going to bigger competitions, and slowly but surely, I began climbing my way up the ranks. It was like I discovered a whole new world, and with hard work and dedication, I believed that I could make it to the World Championship one day. Around this time, however, I started a little thing known as middle school. The shift over from elementary to middle school was definitely one of the most difficult times of my life. All of a sudden, I felt like an outcast as everyone else was trying to one-up each other. While I still had my friends from elementary school, I found it hard to make new ones. It also didn't help that I really didn't have any of the same interests as most of my classmates, who were always talking about sports or the newest Call of Duty game. This caused me to become really self-conscious, and I really felt that there was no place for me. There were many times where I just felt depressed, knowing that I would never fit in. And I thought that I couldn't talk about how I feel, cause that would just make me seem weak. Pokémon was my escape from all this, as I was beginning to take the TCG more and more seriously. As I began doing better at competitions, I started telling people at school about it, and everyone was very supportive. Everyone at school seemed genuinely interested in my hobby, which in turn helped me get to know my classmates more and even make some new friends. Things weren't all good, however, as my anxiety was still pretty bad. I was worried that I might not be meeting people's expectations, and that somehow everyone else was still better than me. And no matter what, I felt I couldn't tell anyone about my inner struggles. However, a major turning point happened when I finally won myself an invite to the World Championship. I stood there, surrounded by the best players in the world, myself included, and it was such a surreal experience. Thanks to everyone's endless support, my dream had finally come true. I continued to play for years after that, returning back to the World Championship several times. However, as I kept playing, I seemed to enjoy the game less and less. I decided that I wanted to try new things, and I started spending most of my free time on programming, creating games, drawing, and yeah, YouTube. Earlier this year, I announced that I was leaving the TCG. While some people told me I was crazy for leaving, I knew I wanted to try new things and learn new skills. I no longer felt I needed to use Pokemon to prove to others what I was capable of, mainly because Pokemon proved that to myself. I no longer play competitive Pokemon trading card game, and there may be a day where I no longer do YouTube either. But no matter what happens in my life, I know that Pokemon will always be a part of it. When I first said I wanted to make it to the World Championship, a kid in my 5th grade class said it would never happen. Likewise, when I decided that I wanted to make videos to entertain people, there was an inner voice telling me that no one would watch. I wasn't sure how to respond to it at the time, but it looks like that over 200 people disagree. I know it may not seem all that high in the world of YouTube, but that number still baffles me. Just know that if you want to do something, you cannot let people tell you that you can't. Throughout the years, Pokemon has taught me that, and so have all of you. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.